Hi, I'm McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today we got a dandy. Do men hurt more during a breakup? Interesting question. B, what's your take really quick so we can just get that out of the way?
I really don't know. I'm interested to see.
Have you been hurt more than your ex in a breakup?
I don't know.
You wouldn't know because you wouldn't ask him, would you? So how would this even be measured? How could you measure hurt? They probably sell something online like a hurtometer or something. Like, that's the big question, right? Like, this is a topic where there's quote unquote experts online that actually go to town on this and are like, oh no, men hurt more. Men hurt more. How would we even fucking prove this? This is one of those things. It's like, oh no, it's men, women. It's like, how would you measure this? Great question, right? Mm-hmm. That would be my number one question. How would you measure it? How would you know? Would you contact your ex and go, I have a few questions for you because I'm just wondering, I'm really hurting right now and I really want to get a read here because I've watched a few videos and I'm starting to think I'm hurting more than you are. So let me just ask you some questions so we can check this out and we can see who wins the hurt game more. Like, why would you even want to measure this? I wouldn't want to know. Oh, is my ex hurting more than me? Now, what this kind of stuff does, this is the problem. Some guy gets in a breakup. He's a man. He goes online. He watches a few videos. He goes on a few channels, and he goes like this. He goes, oh, men hurt way more. And then he's hurt more because subconsciously he watched a video. He saw some of this stuff. Someone he likes, someone that he thinks is quote unquote cool, someone that has 7 million subscribers and a bunch of views. And it's like, oh, yeah, men hurt more. Not really. Depends on the timing and circumstances every single time. This isn't like a man-woman thing. This is a circumstantial thing. So, for example, this is actually true more than you think. A dog died in your family. Like, I've heard this way more than you would ever realize. And this is what happens when you actually talk to people one-on-one about their breakups. It's like, oh, and my dog just died. There's some correlation there. And actually, you know what? You're going to hurt more because your dog's gone. Or the dog's sick. Oh, our dog's like 17 years old right now. You know, it's limping around. We don't know if we have to put it to sleep. And she broke up with me 2 weeks ago. Now that's, right? Like, those are the circumstances that happen that you hurt more. The idea that men hurt more, it can't be measured, number one. Number two, in certain circumstances, yes. Just because it's a man and a woman? No. No way, Jose. I mean, there's just, does that make sense?
Sure.
All right, that wasn't genuine. You still can't give a straight answer here. I mean, do you think that men hurt more?
Yeah, I really don't know. I like you said, I think
gun to the head. Gun to the head. If you had to answer and someone was like, "Hey, man, you got to figure this out right now." Mission Impossible.
I would think that women probably hurt more. Maybe, I don't know.
Off the top of your head?
Yeah, just a guess. I have no idea.
Here's the thing, like, how about this one? Let's just dissect this. I have a few reactions to do to some other videos on this, but wouldn't sensitive type people be more hurt in a breakup? And by the way, someone might say, oh, well, women seem to be more sensitive than men.
Yeah, do they tend to be more sensitive? I don't know. Maybe.
Overall, they're more emotional. Yeah, that would be something you could go on. And this isn't even like, oh, this is, you know, like, let's just break this down really quick. Will an ex really tell you how much they're hurting? Like, think about that. Now, there are some people out there that would be like, oh, no, she told me. Well, what was the gain? To get you back? Pity seeking? No one's ever gonna be like, oh, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm about a 9 right now in my hurt. Right? I've been talking to my therapist, and it sounds like I have more hurt than you do. Why don't you care as much? That would be one. It seems like you don't care. I've had a breakup before years back, long time ago, decades ago. And it was like, do you even care? Or that's it? And it's like, I just don't want to talk about it because I'm playing a poker hand. A lot of times in a breakup, there's a lot of poker being played. There's a lot of bluffing going on. Would you agree that's true?
Yeah, absolutely.
See, that was totally different answer than when you went, yeah, sure. You went, sure. It's like you're disengaged. That one, you're like, no, I know that one.
I know that one.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you're bluffing, which is true, right? That would be a good way to put it. Because I've had people come to me and they're like, yeah, I feel this way. I do this. We talk about the breakup. We unpack it. So did you say that to him? No, I didn't say that to him. And by the way, women, in my experience, in my opinion, I'm not saying this is an absolute, but during breakups, they're better at bluffing. They're better at holding their cards. And someone say, oh, that's not true. I'm just saying they're more apt to be like, I was crying all night last night, but I saw him today and I ignored him. I spit in his face. It's like, why'd you do that? Don't you want him back? Yeah, but I don't want him to know that. Right? Where a guy might call up and go, I've been really thinking about it and I didn't say what I had to say. Now I care. You know what? I've done some things wrong. And they start, you know why? Because the guy goes like, I'm going to pour it out because I think that's what you want and that's going to get you back. And then it's, oh, the guy hurts more. No, not really. It just means that he thinks hurting is going to work. By showing that he's hurt and vulnerable and emotionally available, he thinks it might lead him as an in, where the woman thinks, I'm actually hurt right now, but I want you to hurt too. So instead of, dropping my arms and coming to your house in the rain and saying how much I love you, I'd rather just go, I just don't think it's the time right now, or I don't think I'm ready to have this talk. It's different. But there's all these videos right now. I was just looking up this topic right now because B brought it up. Surprise, surprise. Men feel heartbreak, right? More. How is that, like I said, how is that even measured? And the people doing it's like, yeah, it's true. It's true.
As a fact.
Well, here's what I see in that. It's true of you and your situation. So what you're saying to me, you're conveying to me personally. And this is where my perspective's different. It's like, I don't know, talk to maybe 500 to 800 people in their breakups. And someone might go, well, that's not kind of a lot of people. Individual breakups, different places, different countries, right? And I could have easily said, I've talked to thousands. I'm not going to do that because that would be a lie. I don't think I've talked to thousands. It's been 5 years. It's been a good ride and it's been good. Helped a lot of people, but I'm not going to, I've seen it on people's sites. I've helped thousands. It's like, really? I think one guy, that's a coach. I pulled him up before. One of the people that comes on the live stream sent me his information from Love Advice TV, the French guy. Hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds.
I've helped hundreds of thousands of women. I'm like, come on, dude. What, are you on 2 phone calls at one time? Are you doing 10 minutes? Are you doing speed coaching? Come on, man. Like when you read that, it's like, wow, man. Wow, you must be doing a really good job. I guess you're going for a fucking quantity over quality. It just doesn't, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm just going to say maybe 500 or so, right? In my experience, that's my experience. Oh, that's not enough. Fine. Just telling you mine. There's no way in hell that you're going to measure who's hurting more. And really, here's the other part about it. Here's the other part. A breakup, someone could hurt from the get-go. They can cry their eyes out. For 2 days at work, and then a month later they're great because they let it all out. And then a month later the guy's like, I was crying, I don't know what, I just broke down in the park and I fell to the ground and it's been 2 months. What happens? It's like you never released it. So hurt can come in waves or you can get triggered. So the whole idea, how long you hurt, how are you measuring this? Hurt happens in different stages. It's like I have guys that will call me up and they'll be like, dude, it's been 8 months and I just started crying last night. Well, you've been holding that in. The question is, what happened to you? What happened in your breakup? Write out your story, send it in, and I'll give you my take. Seems redundant. It's the truth because it's different. So what do you think, what are some circumstances and timing situations that you think really is someone's going to hurt more?
They see someone with like a new person.
Genius. This is why I brought you in, because you got genius insights like this. It's incredible. You're a savant when it comes to breakups. When you come to the mic like that, I'm like, God, man. Exactly, right? That'd probably be the worst thing.
Yeah.
My girlfriend or my boyfriend, I've seen him with someone else. Now, would a man or woman hurt more in that situation? You might go, men care more if their woman's with someone. I could dig that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I would definitely say that there's a large portion of women, I don't know the herdometer, if it's out there, could do anything about this. There's a large portion of women out there, though, like if they saw their guy with something, it would crush them.
Yeah.
It would crush them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Crush them. And then you're like, well, men usually hurt more. Circumstances. She leaves you for your best friend.
We did that
But you're the man. You hurt less. That's what everyone tells you.
Right.
Not really. Oh, well, that's a different type of breakup, Mac. Well, I mean, generalizations. Be very careful about the content consumption these days because it's just generalization. There's no specific situations. Right? It's and you hear some things, you're like, what happened? Wow, that's pretty tough. And then there's some people out there that can just go, no big deal.
No biggie.
I was just randomly on YouTube scrolling through, and they had this guy that was put in jail for 10 years by Putin, President Putin in Russia. And they were interviewing him because this happened 20 years ago or a long time ago. And during the court proceedings, he just told his lawyers to stop interjecting, stop trying, and he was laughing behind. It was like he was behind plexiglass because he said, "It's over. I'm not
gonna fight it."
Yeah, it's. In other words, he felt like everything was false, and they were asking him in the interview. They were like, "Why were you laughing? Like, why were you smiling? You're facing 10 years of prison time." Because I'm one of those types of people that I got to find a positive. And he goes, I just had to laugh because of how false the accusations were. I just wanted to listen.
Like
I didn't want to get how ridiculous
it
was, and so he didn't want to get it interrupted. And so someone like that in a breakup would probably go, been through 10 years of prison, hun. C'est la vie. You know what I mean? It's like, this is where the circumstances are different. Right. It's just totally different for different people. It's definitely not a man or woman thing. Now, if you said, like, now they say, well, there's some studies on this. Okay. My problem is a guy gets in a breakup, he watches one of these videos, and then he goes, oh, yeah, this is a reason for me to hurt more. It's like a placebo. I watched this, like, now I know. It's like, actually, dude, does it matter? Do you want to be the one to hurt more? Would you like to identify with that? Does that make you feel great? It's like, actually, dude, I just watched this video. The men hurt way more. Great, man. Great way to look at it. You know, great perspective on this whole thing. Right? What do you think would be like a worst case scenario for a breakup?
Worst case scenario?
Yeah, worst case scenario.
Jeez. Yeah, like the one you just said, the best friend, like going with best friend or family or something like that.
I think there's been a few scenarios where people's hooked up with parents.
Oh, I'm sure that's happened.
Imagine that.
Oh my God.
Your girlfriend hooks up with your dad. Holy, that's happened probably before.
I'm sure it's happened.
A lot of brothers and sisters have stolen boyfriends or girlfriends.
Yeah, I have heard of that for sure. Yeah.
Right? But I would say Silver Linings Playbook, walking in on someone.
Oh, yeah, that's got to be traumatic. Yeah. Great movie, by the way.
But who would hurt more? The woman wouldn't hurt after that. She just meets some other guy right after because she just monkey branch him. It's like, no, not really. Not really. Right? Let me see what I got here on deck. Men feel... This is only 6 minutes. Men feel breakups stronger than women. Andrew Tate on how to use emotions to drive yourself. So let's just take a look at this. There's a couple more I'm going to take a look at. But the situations, man. I mean, what is this whole thing of everyone knowing what men and women do? It's like, there are some situations. You know what? How about this one? There's a large portion of men that probably pee standing up. But I'm sure there's some guys that tuck out there and sit down and take a pee on the toilet. I'm sure. I don't know what the percentage is, but I wouldn't say like every guy stands up and takes a piss.
They're out there?
You just raised your hand, so you tuck?
No, I'm saying
you take a seated pee.
They're out there. There's these men.
Well, I mean, it's like everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone, right?
Yeah, you can't
it's like,
say
well, there are probably some guys out there with some serious knee and back pain.
Yeah.
right? And he's like, holy,
Injuries,
he's like, I've
that's
been
gotta
taking
be-
a sitting pee for 10 years. And someone's like, well, that doesn't apply. It's like, well, I mean, you're saying all men, right? It's like these circumstances never ends. Rye Flint, what's going on? Did you want to come on live today and share some hurt? No one likes to do that.
Share your hurt.
Share it. Be vulnerable. Let's take a look at this. This is what all men do, folks. It's like, okay. You like that, huh? Yeah. Men stand in pee. There's some that don't, probably.
I guess they're out there.
3 years ago, Pat said, I want you to read a book. It was called Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, Stoicism.
Yep.
You've referenced Stoicism multiple times, not getting emotional, thinking rational.
Yep.
This was a book that you've subscribed to for years. What is it about Stoicism and not getting caught up in emotions and even triggering emotions that resonates with you?
Well, emotions are feedback. The idea that men don't feel emotions is incorrect. We feel emotions. I would actually argue we feel emotions with certain emotions stronger than women. I would argue that we feel heartbreak stronger than women. I would argue we feel anger like a woman could never understand. I would argue we are extremely emotional. Rage, pure rage. But it's feedback. So when you get the feedback, it's all about how you internalize that and how you process it, right? It's having stoicism's not feeling emotions. It's feeling the emotion and going, okay, why is this happening? How much does this really matter? What's the most intelligent move on the chessboard? I'm not even that good at chess, right? My father was a grandmaster. I'm like 1800 ELO. I'm okay. I was a child chess prodigy, but I stopped playing chess professionally when I was like 8. So I'm as good now as I was. In fact, I'm worse now than when I was 8 because I've never taken any lessons or anything properly since because my mother and father broke up. We moved to England. My dad stayed in America. Lost my chess coach, and England didn't have a chess infrastructure. America had a chess.
Right here, I would have interjected and said, who hurt more, your dad or your mom? Because Andrew Tate has talked about his dad being a real tough dude. I've heard him a few times, like, chess master. He's just, it's like, counter that.
A tough dude.
But it's kind of it's kind of interesting. It went from like the title is Meet Heartbreak or Men Feel Heartbreak Stronger Than Women, and then it goes into like I was a chess master when I was 8. Isn't it? But isn't it? Let me just throw that little bit in there, but we'll get back to the topic. Let me just, when I was 8 years old, I was actually a grandmaster chess. I was a prodigy. Anyways, getting back to your question, it's like B going like, before we get into what you actually asked me, Mac, I was actually almost on the PGA Tour when I was 10. But, I've taken some time away from it.
I was pretty good.
You were pretty good at, right? It's like, oh, can we get back on the topic? No. Actually, also when I was young,
I'm a genius, but,
I was also a hell of an archer. It's like, really? No, we don't need to talk about that right now. We can get back into this. It just takes a little validity out of the whole situation, right? I would argue to say men are more like he's saying they're more emotional. All right.
Infrastructure in the lower income schools. My dad used to go to the ghetto schools because he was black, go to the black schools and teach them how to play chess. So we had a big infrastructure.
You peaked at 8.
I peaked at 8, yeah. But chess is a fantastic game because in the game of chess, there's no luck. If you lose, no matter how well you played, if you lose, at some point you made a mistake. Even if it's the most minor mistake, you made a mistake. So you learn to understand that no matter what happens to you, if you lose a scenario, you made a mistake. Maybe it's a tiny one. Maybe it was 2 years ago, whatever, but you made a mistake and you learn absolute and utter accountability for yourself. And that mentality is extremely powerful to apply to all things in life. The position I'm in now as the most hated man in the world, although I agree and I truly believe it's unfair, I still take complete responsibility for. I'm not going to sit here and say, I'm telling you why it happened when I talk about TikTok and YouTube shorts, but I'm not going to blame them. Absolutely. They're a company making money and they're monetizing the best they can. Fantastic. All of this is my fault. But the Bugatti on my drive is my fault. And the yacht is my fault. And the private jet's my fault. So it's all my fault. So I take the good with the bad. I take all responsibility for absolutely everything, including if a woman leaves me, if a woman stays, if I end up heartbroken, if I end up filled with rage, I take responsibility for that. If something happens to me that makes me enraged, I will take responsibility. Why has this happened to me? Why do I feel this way? How did I end up in this position? Is this healthy in this scenario? And sometimes it is. I've had scenarios in my life where I was prepared to die to protect somebody else, and I was enraged, and it was healthy. I've also had times where I'm in a room by myself, enraged, sitting there going, this is no good for anybody. I need to just calm the fuck down. Mm-hmm. So emotions are feedback, but stoicism is the ability to process them. And that's what you need to be learn as a man. You're never going to be able to turn them off. You're going to feel them. You have to learn how to process them and turn them into a positive. It's energy. It's unlimited energy. I say this all the time. I say that the biggest periods of transformation in my life is when everything was going wrong. When my life was going good, I'm not a hedonistic person. I don't do drugs. I don't gamble. I don't do prostitutes. I don't do anything that hedonistic. But I'll certainly go on the yacht with a bunch of women I know and chill and have some vodkas and that kind of thing. When life's smooth, then it's semi-hedonistic, pretty relaxed. But when I make my biggest progress, when I really change who I am and change the world, that's when everything's fucked. When things go wrong or I'm feeling things I don't want to feel.
I like how you just slipped in here when I changed the world.
I know.
It's a big one, man. I'm just feeling inspired to play chess.
You should.
You said you play chess a bit.
Oh, you know,
it's helped you with your. Well, you told me it helped you with your emotions after watching this, a little bit.
Not really.
No.
No.
Okay. All right.
I didn't get that deep into it. It was just fun to learn.
I know what he means, though. You can use your emotion, your energy
sure.
to drive you. He makes a good point here. It's kind of funny that you can tell that the guy interviewing him is really looking up to him. Mm-hmm. Do you notice that? Yeah. Like how he looks at him while he's talking? It's very intense. It's, you know what I mean? It's like you can tell him like this guy deserves some respect here. I don't know if he made a good point about men being more heartbroken than women. Mm-hmm. But let's just take a look at one of these other videos that I haven't looked at, but it looks kind of interesting. It's called The Real Talk. And it's kind of interesting because I remember in the early 80s, I was a kid, right? I didn't play chess though.
Your dad wasn't a grandmaster?
No.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a drawback. I didn't know if I was going to change the world yet. Mm-hmm. But I did wear some turtlenecks sometimes. Do you remember turtlenecks?
Yes, I remember turtlenecks.
Do you remember turtlenecks?
Yeah, I know what a turtleneck.
I remember turtlenecks were like big in the 80s. Mm-hmm. Like if you have, you know, when you have like a picture when you're a kid in Christmas photos, I'm like, fuck, man, does anyone wear a turtleneck anymore? Yeah. Do you ever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bam.
There you go.
Check out this dude, man. Wow. This is confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Let's how men handle breakups when they are the dumper. Let's take a quick look at this. I haven't really, but to be honest with you, I'm intrigued.
Guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my channel. I want to share with you guys a couple little things. It's just all kind of strange, honestly, because it was about maybe not even a month ago. One of you guys actually who's subscribed to my channel left a comment on the video, How Do Men Handle Breakups? And the question was, can you make a video about how men handle breakups when they are the dumper? That question was asked over a month and a half ago, actually. So I was asked that question, and it's just weird because, you know, a month and a half later, I can actually relate to the topic. So, I mean, I took a picture of that comment. You know, I knew that somewhere down the road I was going to make this video, and because, you know, you guys, my subscribers, my viewers, I want to bring you guys the content that you want to see. I saved that comment, and I knew I was going to make the video at some point. It's weird because just recently I ended my relationship. Yes, I was the dumper. So whoever you are, thanks. You jinxed me. No, I'm just kidding. It's all right. So, I'm not mad at you or anything like that. So, you know, thank you for asking the question. It's actually a great topic. All right, but let's go ahead and let's get into it. Go into details bit by bit. Number one, guys, I would say sometimes the reason is because you and the guy can just grow apart, you know, over time. You know, just things can happen and you can just naturally become distant. And, you know, you grow apart. It's very natural, you know. Not that it happens with everybody, but you know, it happens with a lot of couples, in my opinion, you know, especially young couples. And you know, other times they just want something different, you know. They you know, you grow apart from each other, and you know, you just want something totally different. Like I said, these things all depend on circumstance. Sometimes
not really giving a whole lot of details here, huh?
That's great insight, though. Sometimes you just drift apart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Things have just been running its course. It's like, what happened, dude? Why'd you break up with him? Right?
Yeah.
Right? It's fine. It's like you're gonna air all this stuff out to your channel and all this other stuff. I'm with you, right? Okay, someone predicted it, right?
Well, he's got some time. He's got more time left in the video, so.
Are you wanting to watch more of this one? I think this one might be one for you to take home. This might be your homework because you're just entering this space for a little while. B. I'm just having trouble. Like Riflin says, I was lost. Well, he says basically that a viewer sent in a letter. I haven't seen this video. I don't know his channel too well. I just came across it because it was in the feed for when men feel heartbreak more, and he's saying basically, you know, he was the dumper. They are the dumper, not dumpy. And he's saying, oh, circumstance, but he's not really giving a lot of details here. So I think I'm going to move on from this. And B's actually the one that was like really keen to watch this one. So I'm going to pass it over, and this is homework for you, bud.
Cool.
You go ahead and take that home and let me know how it works out let me know if it's worthy.
Okay.
Because, all right, B just held up a card. He's like, please play it. All right, fine.
times, you know, the guy just totally gets tired of your shit. I've learned love is not always enough. It also depends on how you're treated. It also depends on a great number of things. It really just depends on the person and what matters to them. They just get tired of all the shit. And, you know, men a lot of times get so tired of giving and receiving nothing but pain and suffering and agony in return with absolutely no end in sight. Sometimes a man, a real man, you know, somebody that values love, what's best for you and what's best for him, a man who comes from a good family, a man who values family, a real man, he's just got to do what he's got to do. Despite how much he loves, despite how much he loves you, despite what's truly in his heart and what he wants, because he knows that it is the right thing to do. I know with what I just said, there's not a whole lot of context, but you guys can context what I just said. You can relate it in some way, shape, or form, I'm sure, to your situation. Because I literally just gave you guys a whole slew full of things that could have been the reason as to why he broke up with you. So take it, but take it with a grain of salt and relate it to your situation.
Academy Award. That was Academy Award, man.
I'm not sure. I learned a whole lot from that, but
Well, I saw you were diligently taking notes. Man, he didn't want to give any of the details. Huh? It's like I just broke up, and then that's a classic example of like generalization. Yeah. It's like all right. Everyone's waiting. I hadn't seen his channel before. I was just curious about that because of the title, and it came up in here. All right, let's see. This is one that's a short. Let me pull this up here. So, men love idealistically. Okay, this is from Fresh and Fit. That they're full of generalizations and typecasting situations that are like, oh, this is how men are, this is how women are, this is how men are. More men commit suicide, more women get divorces. It's like, okay, where's the stats on? Studies show, science shows, studies are, where? They just show 70% and 90%, this and that. It's like, all right, let's just take a look at this. Let me know if you guys agree with this or like where this is coming. A very confident take here. Probably has more holes in it than Swiss cheese, but let's get into it. Why not listen to it? Let's see what happens. I know Talked with him. He is personally a good guy, Sabina. You talked with who?
I understand the fact that as a man, a woman loves you for what you bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? Your money, your income, your status, your confidence, your ambition, your cleverness. There's a whole bunch of different things that women look for in a man before they can actually love and submit and want to be with him. But for men, it's like, we love women for real because we don't have as many requirements of them.
You love women for real? That's what you said?
Yeah, men love women idealistically. This is why breakups hurt men way more. This is why men commit suicide way more when it comes to suicide.
So what do you break down what idealistically means?
As in, it's the closest. Obviously, no love is unconditional, but it's the closest to it. Like when a man loves a woman, he loves her far harder than she loves him back, if so to speak. This is why women overwhelmingly, initiate divorce and breakups, etc. And why guys have such a tough time getting over it. Because when a man loves a woman, he loves her for real. When a woman loves a man, she loves him.
I think the stat here is that
how he makes her feel. Men love idealistically, women love opportunistically. I understand the fact that as a man, a woman loves you for what you bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? Your money, your income, your status, your confidence, your ambition, your cleverness. There's a whole bunch of different things that women look for in a man before they can actually love and submit and want to be with him. But for men, it's like, we love women for real because we don't have as many requirements of them.
You love women for real? That's what you said?
Yeah, men love women idealistically. This is why breakups hurt men way more. This is why men commit suicide way more when it comes to suicide.
So what do you break down what idealistically means?
As in, it's the closest. Obviously, no love is unconditional, but it's the closest to it. Like when a man loves a woman, he loves her far harder than she loves him back, if so to speak. This is why women overwhelmingly, initiate divorce and breakups, etc. And why guys have such a tough time getting over it. Because when a man loves a woman, he loves her for real. When a woman loves a man, she loves him.
I think the stat here is that
how he makes her feel. Men love idealistically, women love opportunistically. I understand the fact that as a man, a woman.
B's nodding his head like, yep.
Oh no, I was rocking out to the music.
No.
Totally, yeah.
Do you agree with that? Do men love for real? Do men love harder?
I mean, I'm sure some of that's true, but I don't know. Like to generalize, like you're saying all the time. Yeah, I don't know. Could be. I don't know.
I mean, how would you measure how real someone loves someone or how hard someone loves someone?
Right.
I still think that if you're in a long-term relationship, that there'll be moments where the other person finds you to be more loving and vice versa. But I've seen cases where clingy women especially are more loving or love more. But you just don't have a take at all on this. You just mum on it.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not like watching these type of videos too much, so so I have to look at the stats. I don't know.
Sabina said she knows the guy, so he's got credibility. Okay, Sabina. She's met him before. He's personally a good guy. How did you meet him? In what context? In what context did you meet him?
Break it down, please.
And why do you believe him to be personally a good guy? I'm not saying he's not, because honestly, he's just giving his take. I'm not saying that it's wrong or right, because it's an opinion. So there's no wrong or right. The idea, though, that women or men love harder, I don't know who does, but here's what I would say. If you look at your individual relationships in your own body of work, you'll probably see a pattern of something where you're like, actually, I don't fall that fast, or I'm one of those, it takes me more time, right? I don't think it's just cut and dry, these things. Do women look for more of those things, maybe as a provider and those types of things and money and different things? Sure. I could go with that. But then on the flip side, if there's a man out there and he cheats on his wife and she's getting old, all right, let's give an example here that's actually fairly real, if we're going to use what's real. And if this makes sense, because I think a lot of people know about this, and to be honest, I don't know the details, but I'm sure people will fill me in the live stream, and B seems to be one of those people that knows a lot about stuff like this.
You know what? Okay.
You don't even know what I'm going to talk about, but I know you're going to know about. You're going to go, oh, yeah, I know about that, right?
Oh, probably, yeah.
The Inquirer. So Donald Trump, for example, you know a little bit about Donald?
No, who is...
All right. So Donald Trump, right? Like, he's had multiple wives. I don't know how many. I know there's going to be some people that will be like, oh, he's had this many, this, right? So do you think Donald Trump in his marriage has loved the woman more and hurt more when he broke up? Look at your face right when I said that, dude. Or is that just a unicorn of the situation?
Yeah, maybe.
Because you're. Do you think he hurt more?
I'd really have to know the situation. Like, I have no idea.
So there was a documentary or some kind of story I saw on him years back, and I'm not saying this is true or not true. I don't know how accurate the information was, but he puts everything out there, right? He's not a private guy, never has been. I mean, he's been since I was born. He was on TV for something, right? But Ivana Trump, who was his, I don't even know if that's his first wife. I'm not sure because, like I said, I don't know, but that was his wife that he had kids with. They had they had businesses, and he was having an affair, and his mother was like, you got to stay with your wife, and he said, she's had 2 kids, like I can't even sleep with her anymore. That's what he was quoted as saying
Publicly?
right?
Like, out there?
Yeah. Like in this documentary, right? So I'm saying, does that apply? If that's true, which it kind of sounds like something Donald Trump would say,
Because he's out there.
like, do you believe that he hurt more when he broke up?
In that situation?
Do you
It doesn't
think
sound like it.
Do you think he's more in love with his wife currently than she is with him? Or I mean, and the reason, and someone's like, well, that's not a real. I mean, these are marriages. The situations are unique to the groups, right? So like you could take what would be really interesting, instead of going like, this is what happens in marriages, 45% of it's like, what? There's no way to even fucking take these research studies. There's no way, even if you were like, according to America research, you're gonna, how many marriages are you getting this data from?
And like you said before, like, how much are they divulging? Like, how much are they putting out there in these things? Like, what's going on?
It's just hideous. The kind of information that, well, and the guy in the background, well, 45%, it's like, okay, dude, we got your 45% stats so you can sound like you got a PhD. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, 45, according here, 45% of what? Where's the study? Oh, John Hopkins, was it 3,000, 4,000 people? Like I said, right there with the Donald Trump thing, do you think Donald Trump hurts more? Do you think there's a situation where, I mean, how many times has it happened where a guy that's quote unquote high value or has gotten to a point where he gets a lot of women and his woman gets out of shape? Because if you're going to say that the primary thing that women look for is money and to get taken care of, then a lot of people would say, well, men look for looks. Which wouldn't be completely inaccurate, right? If you're going to go generalizations, and that's probably the thing. Do looks run out faster than money? Depends on the person, depends on the couple. So it's just like these things just are, and people just, what happens, what's really concerning about this is people just regurgitate this stuff up over and over and over.
Cycles.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, dude, this is true. It's like, it's not true. If you had 100 couples, they'd all have different stories.
Right.
I'm not saying that you should go out and get married. I'm not saying that, or I'm not saying, but this idea that men hurt more because they have real love, as if this is factual. Give me a break.
Because he loves for real.
I mean, even when the girl's like, what'd you say?
Yeah.
And it's like, some of the things that you're saying are true of some individuals. Is it true of all men? No. There's very unique, nuanced situations. But the idea that men love more and love stronger than women, I don't even know how to measure that.
And people break up in different...
I don't even know how you'd measure it.
Yeah.
I don't even know how you'd measure it. It's about situation. Every case is different. So Sabina, like when you see something like this, and I know you like the guy because he responded to one of your messages, and he said he talked with him about life issues in a few streams. When I asked personal question, then I got opposite answers than these general answers he gives here. So what were if we may ask Sabina, because I respect your opinion, what were the life issues in the streams that you talked about and some of the things that he got a little more detailed on? He's not a dumb guy. I'm just saying that these are the kinds of things, and then guys go, yeah, this is. Then they identify with it, and they feel like, oh, this is true, like everyone's against us.
Or even like she's saying, like once he kind of goes in a little deeper on topics, like instead of these just 1 minute shorts or something, you know, that just give a general answer.
I think
you
this
know what
was
I mean?
I think this was a clip, like
Right,
someone clipped
right,
it.
They just clip it instead of, you know, the whole interview or whatever, you know.
I mean, what's really ignorant is the fact when they're like 45% of women. 45% of women in what study? With how many people? I know B's rolling his eyes because he's like, yeah, I know you've said that before. It's like,
Once or twice.
how many times have you heard it though? How many times? It's not accurate. I don't know how to, you know what I mean? What would be a good study to measure love? How would you, if you're going about it, you have a girlfriend or a wife and you're like, I want to measure how much she loves me. There's a love meter they have on Amazon, I think. I mean, how would you even and then he goes, yeah, there's no such thing as unconditional love. According to you, I mean, people have unconditional love for their pets. Would that be accurate?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
I don't know. B's over it right now. He's like, whatever, man. I want to get back to the guy in the turtleneck.
Well,
Life issues such as how to live a good life without being a parasite and live on your own. Well, that's an interesting question. Wow, you hit him up with that one, huh? Let me get a crack at that one.
Yeah.
B, how would you answer that?
How to live without being a parasite? I don't know. That's a good one. I don't know. I would like to hear.
Have you ever known a human parasite?
Hmm.
Bloodsucker?
No, not really. I'm trying to think of some people. No, I don't think so. Maybe like when I was younger, we've talked like before. I think my parents had a few friends maybe that
stayed over too long.
Yeah, that kind of thing. But they were going through stuff, you know. Like I don't know.
That could be called compassion.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I could say, yeah, maybe they helped them in a bad time. I don't know. That's what I come to.
Yeah.
What about you? Known any parasites?
It's a strong word, huh?
Yeah,
it's like if I called someone, that's pretty fucking low, dude. It's like a friend of mine that he used to be one of those people. He always takes food from your plate
when
you're eating and stuff. You know what I mean? And some people are like, "Oh, what's the big deal?" or something. Like it's like you got fries. I don't even eat fries that often, but you got fries or something. It's not even like, but he won't order something. But he'll just come over and be like, grab food from your plate. And he acts, and you're like, what's the big deal, Mac? You're one of those? No, actually, after living in Thailand for years and like, this is a culture where you share your food. I know you're like, what do you mean share your food? Like there's, like you sit down and you share food.
No, the norm is not to order for yourself. It's like
right, you share food. So like I'm used to that now, right? But like putting your hands in the plate or something like that, there's kind of some, you know what I mean? It would be more apt like, hey, B, you want some? Or something like that. You're like, or a piece of pizza. This dude, when I say that, he would do it to strangers. He would walk over and take it like we. Yeah.
Wait. To another person.
So let me put it in
table?
so let me put it into context. Let me put it into context so that you understand what I mean. And you know this person actually.
Really?
And like this would be like in a pub restaurant setting, like playing pool or something like that. And there'd be someone off to the side and they ordered fries or something like that. And he'd just come over and grab a French fry and be like,
yeah,
and like talk to him like in a charming way, joke around, and I'm like, you just grab, and like I could see the people,
they're a little like flustered,
like what the fuck, you know what I mean? And he'd be like, good fries, man, and he'd like grab one, and that's like.
But wait, can I add, was he oblivious like to them, like there's like, you know, awkwardness with the situation? Or?
It wasn't so much oblivious. It was more like I don't give a fuck.
Like he just didn't.
Yeah, like I don't give a like no big deal.
Right.
And I'm like, let's have a good time, man. You know, like whatever. You know, cheers. Hey, oh, where are you guys from? And grabbed a fry from the plate. You know, it's like.
I almost think he was doing it just like, you know, steal their attention.
No, he was like that. He was just like that, right? And he didn't order any food yet.
Right.
Right. And so I remember one time I had a group of friends and he met us, and I knew he was like this, right? And I had pizza, I think it was, and so like I had some pizza or something like that, and of course, instead of him ordering some food, I saw him like eyeing my fucking pizza, right? And I waited a moment for a little while, and I was like, did you want some of this, man? I don't know if I'm going to finish it. And he grabbed it, and I was like, I knew it, you fucking scavenger. And he didn't like that. He looked at me, man, when I called him a scavenger. God, you're such a scavenger, man.
Should have dropped parasite in there.
Nah, parasite's different.
That's
scavenger.
Scavenger.
But there's people like that, man. There's people like that. It's like, it's kind of funny, but it's not a big deal as long as you know, right? But when I said that to him, he gave me the look like, as he's eating the pizza, because he knew he's a scavenger. I think that's, I don't know.
He's an opportunist.
I mean, we can throw these labels out all day. Parasite's different.
That's a leech. That's someone's. Yeah.
And in order for you to be affected by a parasite, you kind of have to have your walls down and you're not reading people well, right? So for someone to do that for you, unless they're just highly manipulative.
Yeah, you kind of let them in. Yeah.
Right. And you know, someone might say, like you said, your dad maybe helped some people out when you were younger.
They took advantage
There's
of that.
no regrets. Maybe the guy was down in the dumps and stuff like
That's
that.
what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't know the whole situation.
That's an interesting question to call in, though, for Fresh and Fit show, like how to be a parasite and live on your own. Because they always talk how women in the U.S. use men's money. Have you ever known in your life, how about this one? It's like, oh, is it so uncommon that you've ever seen men or a man use a woman for money?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I've seen it, but I think it's definitely. I mean, I guess it's less common just because of the like portrayal and YouTube and. That
I think it's just done differently.
Maybe, yeah.
I think it's just done differently. I think that, because I've had women afterwards that I wouldn't say they got used money wise, but they feel like they've been fooled, or I knew he was talking to someone else. The struggling artist or one of those kinds of things, right? And it's like he's a struggling artist, he's this, he's that, and they'll end up with a woman that is not as attractive as maybe a struggling artist can get, or whatever, right? And they end up really hung up on the guy, and they know the guy's seeing multiple women, he's good with women, and they usually prey on women that aren't as attractive. Some people are like, what do you mean? Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah.
The woman knows too that the guy is a player, or he's good with women. But I've seen situations where those are the one that. So the difference is, let's break this down, because this is an interesting way to look at it. If you were going to say that women use men for money, gold diggers, and there's a certain
narrative, whatever
percentage, right, of women that do that, right? Okay,
it happens. It is out there.
Sure. Yeah. And men are manipulated by that because they have money, so they can do it. So there's sugar daddy sites, right? I was just talking about this with a client recently. There's no shame in that, right? That's fine because it's all up front. And there's guys that are like, "Hey, I know you're using me for my money.
I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it because now we have a situation where
we know the dynamics of it.
Yeah, it's great because we know it up front. Where the woman's like, "Oh, he fooled me." It's like, well, did he? He fooled me. And usually it's a guy that has like 3 or 4. He tries to creates a situation like that, and the woman's extremely insecure. And I've heard it in breakup stories. Like, I lend him a lot of money. I lend him money. What does that apply to? Is that, well, no, the guy didn't use her because they were sleep. Like, I don't know. I mean, if he needed the money for his car and other things,
and she was willing to,
right? And number one lesson: never be a man's bank. I'm just saying, is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. There's guys out there that can, and they usually. So the guy here's the interesting thing: a gold digger can never target a gold digger
because they both don't have.
They would never be able to do it, right?
Yeah.
They would never, like, they're never, so the interesting thing is they have a certain, not only are there like a
criteria,
subgroup.
Like a criteria.
Right, but they also target a certain group, right? Yeah. Like a woman that's a gold digger is going to target rich men. Right now, what they're saying is happening now are there's these guys that don't have that much money that are pissed. They're pissed because the women want more guys with money, right? But guess what? If they can find one, then their expectation of you is like, look, Like if we lived in Beverly Hills, right? And I make 60 grand a year and you make, everyone around me, I'm not in a very good position. Right? It's not the old days where you could be a good fisherman or something and bring home some money or whatever. I don't know. So this is a circumstantial thing. And like she was saying, Miami. I don't know Miami. I don't know how that applies money wise. But the guys that keep complaining about it, fucking move. Mm-hmm. It's like, but on the flip side, there's guys that if they got enough game or whatever it is, and they find a woman that, like, there's circumstances where women divorced another guy, ended up with a lot of money. There's family money. That's a big one, right? But the really bad ones are when you got two people that don't have a lot of money. There was one years back that was a client of mine. I think she was like a baker, literally, like worked in bakeries.
Okay.
You're looking at me like, really? Yeah,
they're out there.
They're out there, right? Didn't own the bakery. Nice lady, too. Mm-hmm. Cool, very cool. Mm-hmm. And that was her thing. She worked for those things, and she went, and she was actually like a manager of bakeries. Mm-hmm. So she, I don't know what the demographic, money-wise, and all that stuff. She ended up hiring this guy. I think he was an ex-convict. And right off the bat, the guy, like, charmed her. They were together, and it was a total train wreck. And the guy borrowed money from her, saw other women, right? And someone would say, oh, well, he kind of, like, if she didn't have a position, she hired him at the bakery. She let him live at her house. He had nowhere to go. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. Mm-hmm. Different circumstance. Mm-hmm. Lesson 2, don't date down. What's down?
Yeah, what's down?
Oh, if he's not over 6 feet. Oh, I don't. It's just impossible these days if you're not over 6 feet. It's like the first thing that comes out of some guy's mouth now. I'm only 5'7". It's like, okay, and still can get on the roller coaster, dude. So you won't get those poor souls. Is it okay if you're the female and you make more money? That's a good topic.
Is it okay?
B doesn't like that one. B's like, what? Is it okay if a woman makes more money?
Of course. You don't have to be okay. You personally don't have to be okay with it, and you don't have to be in that relationship. But for someone, yeah, who cares?
She said, nah, grubs. I don't know that term, grubs. Is that a...
Grub? Come on, you know grub.
Is that for, like, guys that don't make enough money?
Yeah, like what we probably would say, like a scrub.
Ah, scrub, yeah.
Same thing.
Living paycheck to paycheck. People living paycheck to paycheck. Have some compassion, Sabina. Not 6.
5'8".
This is just, and what people don't realize when they watch all these videos, like, yeah, it's true. It's just a story, dude. Mm-hmm. It's just a narrative.
See? Yeah.
Grub to me is food.
Like Grubhub.
Grub's food. Mm-hmm. But grubs would mean, is it, she said? Scrubs was an old term from the great.
That's what I was.
From the great TLC.
Yeah, that's right.
You went to them. You saw TLC live, you told me.
Wrong B.
Wilson Phillips opened for him? No.
I don't even know who that is.
You don't know Wilson Phillips?
No.
Oh, man, it's a classic. I think it's interesting, though. This has become a big thing. I had one more kind of funny video we'll go over real quick. What women lie about. What do women lie about? What do humans lie about? Do you think women lie more than men? That'd be a good question.
Again, I have no idea.
There'd be no way to measure that, right? It's like,
know.
according to study, hold on, 45%. 45% of women lie more than men in marriages in 2022. Mm-hmm. Where's the data on that? Well, according to this, how many people, right? It's like, whenever you hear percentages now, like really the people that use data, however you want to say it, potato, however you want to say it, all right? It used to be doctors would read medical journals. I've heard like Jordan Peterson or one of these people, they'll mention Nature. Andrew Huberman.
We'll go with it. Yeah.
Huberman. Andrew. All his data is like in Nature, and he quotes these journals, right? These journals that a lot of medical doctors, but you could get at the journal if you wanted to. But these are studies, but they'll literally mention the study. But what's interesting though is like you still don't get a grasp of how many people or who were in the study. You know what the biggest study is that's been repeated over and over again, that actually there's some people that still don't get how significant that study is or how often it's ran. What do you think it is?
I have no idea.
Take a couple minutes, all right? Don't just...
Oh, you wanted to know right on the spot.
Come on, you're like, I have no idea. Give it a few minutes, man. There's a doctor in you.
Study?
You had a past life where you were...
I would say like the Google like search engine. But a literal study, I have no idea.
The most important study
No idea.
that's repeated research-wise that I would say is the most important thing to know. Hands down. Hands down. What do you think it is, Sabina Ryflint? Hands down. And you'll know what I'm talking about right away. It's the most important one. It's done repeatedly. And I'll give you a hint. All pharmaceuticals that are being passed use this prior to making that pharmaceutical available to the public.
Oh, like the placebo?
Ding, 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 ding. That's number one. If you study like the details of the placebo, it's like, holy shit. Someone took a sugar pill or whatever they call it, like a fake pill. And then someone took the same pill that they're going to pass that's going to cost XYZ money, and they got the same results. And it's across the board. It's like 25 to 30%. The placebo is always true. That's pretty amazing.
Have you seen the documentary on that? I think it's called The Placebo Effect.
No, I'm not off the top of my head, but I think Joe Dispenza has a book on it. I mean, it's endless. You can look into it, but that's the hard and it's used in every pharmaceutical study, and it's pretty much always true. It's pretty interesting how much belief.
I think they did something like where
How crazy is
like
that?
people that were climbers that had to use like oxygen, they gave like some tanks more oxygen.
I got one for you. So they've done this again and again in different things. So this to me is a standalone thing, and this is why I say like when people are consuming content like this and they're like, oh yeah, 45%. It's like no. Now if you believe that, it's going to be more true. Is my point. But there was one a while back, and I don't know where it is. I don't have the details. Here I am calling everyone out on the details, right? Everyone's going like, how about your stat? I don't have it, but you're going to believe me when I say this is going to be very interesting. It's like, here you go.
All right, Mac.
Right?
Let's go.
They had one where this would be interesting to do too. They had one where they gave people fake alcohol in a bar.
Really?
And they acted drunk. And they didn't know. That's happened repeatedly. I actually had a friend in high school, and I don't know, you'd probably know because you know Mexican restaurants pretty well because you're from California, and that's kind of like our food. It's everywhere, right? You know horchata? I might be saying it wrong, but that like that cinnamon like milk.
Yeah.
Horchata is what it's called, I think. So like 4 or 5 of my friends that were Mexican, they were there with another friend of ours. It's a white dude, just to put this in context. And he was like 14 or 15 because they used to tell this story all the time. Yeah. And they were like, they told him that the horchata had a little alcohol in it. So he was sitting there, you know, like drinking it and stuff. And like they were like, yeah, get him another one, like in Spanish, you know, like making him think he's getting a little liquor. And he was like, yeah, dude, I feel it. I feel it. And someone might say he's lying, but he might have been really feeling it. That's the power of belief. Adarsh Sharma, can I call you AS? I blocked my ex. Is it possible that she will come back to me? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'd prefer to know your story, and then I can give you some percentages based on research and studies.
That's pretty that's pretty generalized.
In all honesty, this is like one of those things. All right, Adarsh, excuse me if I said it wrong. All due respect, your name is important.
You'll have to know the details on that. a little bit more.
So this is interesting, though. I blocked my ex, but is it possible she will come back? So to me, when you block her, if you have the intention that this will make her come back more, I don't think that's a good rationale, we'll just say. Because you're blocking her because she hurts you, or you're blocking her because negotiations are off, or you're blocking her because your interactions aren't good. Those are reasons to block someone. It's like, I haven't blocked many people, but I'm like, I just don't even want to interact anymore. It doesn't even mean that they really offended me. It means their logic or the way they're looking at things, we're speaking different languages. We're not on the same page, and we can't get there. It's equivalent of like if you were negotiating buying a hat, and someone's like, this is $100 hat, and I'm like, it might be $10. So we're so far apart, I'm never going to go back. And the person's like, the person's calling me on the phone going, hey, you know what, I've thought about it. We'll drop the hat to $90. It's like, no, please stop calling me. I'm done. Mm-hmm. You compare it to sales. When you're not interested in something to buy and the person continues to call you and negotiate, and you're like, I'm just not even interested anymore because now you're annoying. Now you're not listening. That's the time to block someone, right? Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing. But if you think I'm going to block them as a way to get their attention, and this is the thing, certain circumstances, certain individual, maybe if they're really, if she has a really big ego and she's one of those that never gives up, see how those narratives might play into this? But I don't know what happened in the breakup, and I don't know where you stood. And if you have someone that never gives up and fights for the relationship, and if they're blocked, it's like I'm gonna find a way to get back to you because you blocked me. It's not gonna fix what happened in the breakup because your problem's still gonna be there, and then you're gonna break up again a month later. There's no instant advice here. Sometimes she was romantic, but most of the time she is a narcissist. Okay, so it sounds now. I'm really happy I did this today at, later in the day. We tried something different here with a different time zone. Listen, because this is great advice for you, Adarsh. Block narcissists so they don't come back.
You really want the narcissist coming back.
If you've identified someone as a narcissist, the first thing to do is, yes, done. Let me see if I can get them back with some covert way. Oh, wait. Is it a slightly narcissistic act to block someone with the intention of getting them back? I don't know. Sounds tricky. I don't know you that well, but I'm just saying, think about that for a minute. And people that accuse other people of being narcissistic usually have a little bit in them. It's just my take. Now, I could be wrong. B, I've never heard him call anyone a narcissist before. Have you ever done that? You're like, narcissist.
No. Mm-mm. Never.
When did you first hear the word narcissist?
Psych, probably. Psych class in high school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Behind the scene. And what did you think? You were like, oh, I know a few of those.
Label. Yeah.
Stop hunting narcissist. But most of the time, she's a narcissist. What do you want, Adarsh? The question becomes, 2020 on YouTube. Man, there was a run on narcissism videos. There's guys that have, there's people that have like channels of like 500,000.
Whole channels.
Oh, Rye Flint, like you're right too. I think 2020 was a sweet spot. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. It's like, it reminds me of the movie The Ghostbusters, right? And what do the Ghostbusters do? What do they do, B?
They get ghosts, man.
They look for ghosts.
Oh, they look for ghosts.
Right? Yeah. And they're called for ghosts. It's like there's narcissistic busters out there right now.
They're hunting?
Oh. Experts on the situation. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't want to look for a narcissist. Have you been a victim to a narcissist before? Have you got caught in that ring when someone did you wrong before where you're like, maybe this person...
Maybe this is a narcissist. And they just start like maybe watching videos or something.
Oh, no. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not possible. Right. And I'm not... Like, if you watch a bunch of that content, it's like the placebo. You're going to start believing it. And then you're like, oh, okay. And honestly, at Arsh, I'm sure she probably has some narcissistic tendencies because most humans do. Anything that you do selfish or ego-based can be construed as something slightly narcissistic. I have a YouTube channel, and so I would just say this: if you're gonna block her, what's your intention on blocking her? If your intention is getting her back, figure out what the problems are, and then are those fixable? Now here's the catch: she's got to want to fix the problems too. And then she might think that the problems you think are problems aren't problems.
So those aren't getting fixed.
Right? How many times does that happen? It's like, I don't think that's a problem. You're just, someone just told me recently, because this is a big one that's coming up, is you have a new partner, right? You have a new partner, and everything's rose petals and wine glasses. We get along really well. We're living together. But I've noticed that he or she or he, are on Instagram all the time, and they're checking their DMs, and all these people are DMing them, or they're liking hot people. They're liking hot girls, hot men, whatever. This is coming up, right? This makes sense. And so like, now we're together. I don't like that. So interestingly, what do you think the response is of the person that's been entertaining these DMs and liking these sexy photos? What do you think the response usually is?
Like you're doing the same thing, or...
Okay, so let me do a hypothetical. You're dating a new girlfriend. Everything's good. You're really happy with her. Things are going well. You live together. You're spending more time together. Maybe you don't live together, but you stay together. You're together more often. And you're just like noticing, because she's good looking. She's a catch. She's active on Instagram, which you knew already. But now when you're in her presence, because you're around each other more, you're like, dude, she gets all these DMs. Or she's liking, it's not just Instagram, but she's liking people's posts that are other men.
She's active on, okay.
Right? And what do you think her response, like, because she's been doing this prior to you, what do you think the most likely response is?
It like doesn't mean anything, or
doesn't mean anything. Number one.
Yeah.
That's pretty accurate. And then the guy goes, well, I'd like you to stop. Why doesn't she stop right away? Why doesn't she just drop it?
It's addictive.
I would say one of the answers would be it's addictive. She's been doing it for a long time. It's not like
you can't just like cut it cold turkey.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you know what? I don't want you to eat chocolate chip cookies anymore. And she's like, I've eaten them every day for 2 years. Yeah. Right? I don't want you to drink coffee anymore. It's like, well, because there's a high from that, right? There's a good feeling from getting people that like photos and different things. But I just recently had a guy tell his girlfriend, this is a dandy. He tells his girlfriend, well, it's not my fault you're insecure.
Wow.
And I'm like, so this is a classic, like, take a look in the mirror. I'm just liking girls' photos.
Yeah.
Now, there's girls out there that would be like, I don't care. We're hooking up and sleeping together every night. Like, I'm secure. I don't think it necessarily means you're insecure if you confront your partner on that. It just means that that's your boundary. That's your thing you're not cool with, and you got to stick to it if you're not cool with it. That's my point. But like, that's a great way to like, yeah, this is on you. You like that one too, huh?
It's your fault.
I just heard it recently, and I was like,
wow.
I was like, well, she goes, do you think I'm insecure? I'm like, do you think you're insecure? You know what I mean? If you don't find that acceptable and you're having a problem with it now, it's not going away. I don't think it's easy for them to stop doing that, but to say you're insecure because of that, see what I'm saying? But it's a growing problem because you go into that, someone's not going to, and then they're going to, like, the answer is like, just shut down your Instagram because that's what Instagram is, like liking people's stuff.
That involvement. Yeah.
I mean, let's just say you have a girlfriend and you, for a long time, were getting all these DMs from attractive women, and you're like, oh, I'm just going to cut that off. Probably you're like, yeah, no problem, but you're like, it's okay. I can't help it.
Couple days.
They've just been coming in.
Couple days.
I can't block them all, hun. Right? But
just
deep,
coming in.
but deep down, you kind of like it. Right? So this is she wrote, Rifle said she loves the attention.
Exactly.
And like I said, one guy was like, I want to do a couples thing with you about this Instagram thing. I was like, we can do it. He said she wants to speak her mind about her. So I'm saying it's fine. If she wants to put a line in the sand and say, no, I'm keeping my social media, fine. How far are you willing to go? Because probably the only answer is like, you got to stop being on an Instagram. Because here's the thing, you're going to change your whole handle. Because Instagram, people have, like, if you looked at my Instagram, the people that I follow would be like Stoics, Charles Bukowski, who's a writer I like, some Bouquets. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to have different stuff than someone that's, into fitness or a model. Like an Instagram model. Right. Yeah. So you're not going to change that. I gave her a lot. She always came up to me to extract energy. She is very attracted to me even after a breakup. We used to text daily at night, sometimes romantic, sometimes normal. I don't know what normal is. She was confused between me and other guy I blocked by thinking she'll realize my importance. She's very attracted to me, but there's another guy. That's interesting. Well, the key part of that whole thing is there's another guy, and the question is, do you want to compete? And why is she talking to another guy if she's so attracted to you?
Could be to like try to make him jealous or something.
Because I would say, like, to be honest with you, in this particular situation, if you want her back, then don't block her. This seems like a very shallow relationship. What I mean by shallow, I mean it's surface, but like it hasn't been a long relationship. And what do you mean I gave her a lot? Money? Like, that's a covert contract. Oh, I did this for her, so she needs to do this for me. If someone extracts energy from you, that's not a good person to be back with, I don't think. The way that sounds.
The way that's worded.
Yeah, the way that's worded. Yeah. She was confused between me and the other. I blocked by thinking she'll realize my importance. It's a pretty big bet, dude. It's more difficult for someone to realize your importance when they're with someone else. But this is what I often say when someone, I mean, you haven't given me a whole lot here. You haven't given me your story. Where are you at in the world, at Harsh? But whenever someone, oh, she's a narcissist. Oh, she extracts energy I gave her a lot. She's talking to another guy. It sounds like check mark, bad, check mark, bad, check mark. I didn't even say red flag, bad, bad. It's like, well, what do you want her to come back to you for? It sounds like you want her to come back and you can just be validated and then push her away.
Like I won in
India. All right.
Okay.
Confused about you, the other guy. How do you know that? And if she's very attracted to you, do you have other women that are very attracted to you? What do you think, B, are the people that move on the easiest?
Probably the ones that have a lot in their orbit, like, ones that can play the field, and that would be my guess.
She's very attracted to me even after breakup. Well, if it's physical attraction, I often tell people, if there's still a lot of physical attraction, there's always a chance of getting back together that's much higher than if you were like, oh, we haven't even hooked up. You kind of know.
Hurdle, you don't need to.
Yeah, no. Well, it's a bridge that'll always draw you back together. So if you're like, even though we don't get along, we still hook up regularly. Well, then there's something special about the attraction and women too. There's one of my clients that you can just tell, like, dude's got a lot of women in his orbit. He's got a lot going for him. And it's not even money-wise, right? And women are easy. It's easy for him. And there's, he's got a few going. It's not a surprise. He understands attraction, all these other things. But in long-term relationships, he has his issues, and that's when he calls me. Right? We talk. And he values it. It's nothing about attraction. But he had like one woman that he's been seeing for like 7 years. And she said, like, I can't help it. I'm so attracted to you, but I know you're bad for me because I know you don't care as much as I do and all these other things. And that's what draws her in. There's attraction. That guy ditched her as a friend. Then she came up to me. I helped her and she fell in love with me. Then he came back and she got confused between me and him. Well, blocking her isn't going to make her have to make you didn't need
already attracted, right? So
yeah, you don't need a if you want her to come back, I wouldn't block her. If you have confidence that she's attracted to you, I wouldn't block her. That's something to say negotiations are off. I'm moving on. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to interact with you. But if she was going to make a decision based on this, she has to miss you. And then if she misses you and she wants to call you and she's blocked, depending on the person, if she's a very sensitive person, she might not try to call you. Again, she might go, oh, he hates me.
That just did it.
Right.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Where if a ego-based woman who is really competitive got blocked, she might come to your door.
Be like, I gotta.
Makes sense, right? All right, we got 10 on deck. Does anyone else have any questions? B has to go pretty soon, huh?
Yep.
He's got to get out of here pretty soon, huh?
Yep.
He's had enough. Plus, he's got to watch that video when he gets home.
Send it to me.
She was attracted because I'm way more good looking than her. I'm also into singing. Well, here's what I always say to people like that. All right? Number one, good for you. I'm really excited about your confidence. And I'm not going to say that was a narcissistic statement, but here's what I would say. I'm incredibly happy for you of your confidence and looking better than someone else and being a good singer. I can't sing. I mean, great. Then go prove that you can meet someone equal or higher value because you're so good looking and you're a great singer. That's the question. Because if you start thinking I'm way more good looking than her, what's that say about you? Right? You think you're one-upping it, but really you're one-downing yourself. Right? It's like if B was like, oh, I'm dating this girl, and I'm like, I'm way better looking than her. I'd be like, oh, excellent, dude. Great job, man. Kudos. Why would that be something good? That's not a good thing to say about someone you're seeing or that's your girlfriend. If you felt that way, at some point it's going to bubble up and you're going to act superior, and it's not going to be a good thing. She can contact me through our mutual friends. That's why I blocked her. She did this before when she blocked me after a breakup. Oh, so there's been multiple breakups. So this is something you guys have been doing for a while. Bottom line, this isn't a good relationship. And what you're going to do is, best case scenario, you're going to break up to make up, break up to make up. That's what you're going to do. Because once you start a relationship where you're regularly breaking up off and on, and you develop a playbook and a pattern, and then what you do is you're like, oh, this is what we do. So when we have problems, we break up. Or like every time I have a problem and I don't get my way, I know we can break up and we're going to get back together. And the problem is someone goes, I'm tired of this game, and they leave, and the other person goes, oh, I thought this is what we do. I thought we make up and break up. So the fact that you've already had a few makeup and breakups, I would say probably like strong couples, they've had a breakup in their past sometimes. So we're like, we broke up once and we did it for like 2 or 3 months, and now we've been together 5 years, 6 years. People that are like, the first 6 months we broke up 3 or 4 times, they usually aren't together for 4 or 5 years. That's game playing. She can, okay, sorry. Just had to check something there. All right, little different time today. Anyone else have some closing questions here? A lot of people don't have boundaries, or they don't know how to stick to them, and that's okay. I mean, the thing is, you got to realize what you want to negotiate and what you don't want to negotiate. And I would say, if someone's with another guy or they're questioning, I've just never been in that situation personally, where I've had a girlfriend and she's like, oh, another guy that used to be my friend, he's come in the picture, and I'm confused now because I kind of want to go back to him. Excuse me? Let me make the decision for you, hon. I guess we're done. Why would you compete for that? You're a singer. You're good looking. That's what you said. I mean, if that's true, put it to the test. You like referring to someone you're with, like, I'm way more good looking than her. And so does that mean she has a really good personality? Funny thing is how many people don't realize that looks are an opinion. It's unbelievable how many people don't understand that everything mostly is an opinion. There are some odd couples in the world, though, every once in a while, huh? I've seen a few odd couples over the years where you're just like, you know, one where the woman was like 6 foot and the guy was like 5'2", and they were together for a couple years. It was like different styles, and the guy was 5'2" and slim. The girl was a little heavier set. She was a stronger personality. It was an interesting couple, but someone would be like, what an odd couple. You know, they're out there. But the idea that you're better than who you're with, I don't know if that's a good thing, man. I don't know why you'd chase that. And I don't know how you measure that. But just the fact that you believe that, you're gonna bring that out in the relationship. All right, let me take a look at the wow, Rye Flint says, I've been used for money before. So it's possible. Men can do it for women. Absolutely. Men can actually do it, yeah. Hurt is an opinion-based subject. Pain tolerance varies human to human. Absolutely. Any question? Any question? I falled for her because she showed me she's the nicest person I can have, but then I fall in love, and I'm a person who wants to finish the life with the person I started with. That's a nice concept. We don't always get what we want, Adarsh. So this is one of the biggest problems we have in life is we get rigid. Rigid means that we see things one way. It's like, and with love and with relationships, if you see things one way, it's going to be a really hard road, dude. So the fact that you fell for her and she's a nice person, and you fall in love with her and you like to finish the life with the person you started with, that's not how she feels. And that's where you're like, what? It's like if you think about it, right? Think about it like this, okay? I like vanilla ice cream and you like strawberry. And I go, everyone likes vanilla ice cream, Adarsh. It's the same thing you're doing right now. I like to finish things. When I fall in love, I do this. When I do this, when I do that. Love doesn't work like that, and relationships don't work like that, because when she's in a relationship, she's unsure. She's unsure about you, and she's met another friend, and she's not in the situation where she necessarily wants to end things with you. And I would say part of her uncertainty is based on what you just said. You think she's a narcissist. You think you're better looking than her, but you still want her back, and you want to be with her forever. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense on your end, does it? I'm not just being hard on you personally, but you come and you want my advice. I'm giving you a different perspective. Does that make sense? How do I find interest in dating again? Go on bad dates. Go on bad dates. Stop. A lot of times people talk about writing a book. I've been talking about it for a long time. A lot of people go, it's one page at a time, one chapter at a time. Write one page bad. I have a ton of pages. I just haven't organized it. Right? How do I find interest in dating again? Go on bad dates. Stop looking for the one. Stop looking to date the best guy you can find. Because what happens is you've had a bunch of incidents that were probably bad. I had a friend like this. She's in her early 30s, good looking girl, and she had a few bad dating app incidents, and then just didn't like the dating app thing, and she just was uninterested for a little while. Take a break, or just go with the idea like, oh, I'll have a few bad dates and see what happens. So then your expectations aren't so high, and you have some stories to tell your friend in the live stream. But if you go in the expectation, I'm really looking for a good boyfriend and a good guy, then you go out on 2 or 3 dates and you're like, that was horrible, then you're really let down. Don't take dating so serious in the sense that you need to find someone. It's more of a discovery mission. It's more of like, let me see what's going. It's really surprising when I have guys that are young that are like, we didn't hook up yet. It's been 2 dates or 3 dates. If a woman doesn't want to hook up with me after date number 3, then she doesn't like me. It's like, really? If the girl was quote unquote addicted to you, it would be more apt that if you blocked her, there would be a better chance. Yeah, sure. Like I said before, if that was the case and she was quote unquote addicted to you, yeah, maybe there's a chance. The question to me would be, if she came back to you, wouldn't you be really insecure or question that she would do the same thing again with that same friend or a different one? So a new problem arises. She comes back, but then 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the road, you're going to be asking about that friend again. Also, Riflin, I'd say, like, if you want to take a break from dating, that's okay. Don't be hard on yourself. Go with it. I've taken breaks from dating before where I'm like, I'm not in the mood. And then you might get surprised. But that's how you approach that. Reframe the question from how do I find interest in dating again to, let's see what happens. It's the same thing when a lot of guys are like, what's going to work? It's like, well, there's not a lot of foolproof things. I have videos about blocking people. I'm sure he saw some of my stuff. Do you want to call in, Ad Harsh? Oh, no. What do you want from dating? To meet new people, to find a new partner? That's usually one of the things I say, but it sounds like when you said, how do I find interest in dating again? That's a different thing to me. That's more of a... You probably have some kind of block up or negative context because the last few dates you went on weren't good. It's like dating apps can be a really bad experience. This woman I knew had one where somehow they had an interaction and she said it was really good. It was really good. They were texting each other. And then she mentioned, where she lived, and the guy showed up at the house. And then she was like, I liked him. Like, we had a good interaction. But then when he knew where I lived, like, he came by the next day and just unannounced, and she got creeped out. And she didn't date for a while after that. She stayed off the dating apps. What's the answer to that? Don't give someone your address again like that. That's one thing for women. It's one thing that's not talked about a whole lot. You would love to call in. I bet you would. I have to give you a link. Let me see here. and I need to take a quick break to get a water because I know this is going to take a minute. But I will invite you. You're going to have to... I don't know if I can just put it on here. No, maybe you can't post it in the comment. Oh, yeah. Maybe you can use that one. All right, I got to take a water and potty break here real quick, and I will come back. All right, buddy. Adarsh?
Hey, sir.
Wow, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
How are you, sir?
I'm excellent, man. What part of India are you from?
I'm from UP, Uttar Pradesh.
Nice, man. Cool, man. I've had a few calls from Indians before in India. I'm actually in Thailand, so we're not too far apart.
Okay.
All right, man. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. We have a good connection here. So tell me from the beginning, how long have you been with this woman?
In my relationship.
In your relationship, yeah.
Yeah. It was like
I'm sorry. So you're coming in clear, but then you're covering your microphone, I think, a couple times. So I don't know if you're on your phone or what, but how long have you been in the relationship?
it was like 6 months. 6 months.
6 months. Okay, 6 months. How long ago did you break up?
About 2 months. 2 months.
2 months. All right. So in those 2 months, you want her back?
Yeah, I do.
Why do you want her back?
I've already loved her.
Huh?
I loved her.
Loved as in past tense or love her now?
In
Mm-hmm.
I still
So what-
do.
So what's the major problem here?
The major problem is confused between.
You're confused that. Can you talk closer to your microphone a little bit? I think you're having a little bit of an echo here. It's echoing a little bit, huh?
Just give me a minute.
Okay, maybe better with headphones.
Okay. Just give me a minute.
Yep, no problem. You know what's interesting, guys, is like people watching this right now, it's like, I don't know why it has this echoing, because B was telling me the last time we had a call in that it had this echoing issue. Trying to figure this out, man. Hello. I don't have an echo, right? No. Maybe this is better. It's probably StreamYard. Hello?
Coming up, just wait.
Hello? All right. We'll give it a go.
Just wait more.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Oh,
I
you're
can
working
hear.
on
I
it.
can hear you. Just let me connect.
Oh, okay. No worries, buddy.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better. It's louder.
Yeah.
All right, so what happened in the breakup? Tell me how it went down. 2 months ago.
Actually, sir, in India we have a problem,
Okay. Tell me about it.
and that problem is known as caste.
I'm familiar with the caste system.
Yeah. So he's from
She's below your-
another caste.
Is she below your caste then?
Yeah, she's below me.
I've had Indian clients talk to me about this before.
But we both are from the upper.
And your parents approve of her?
No, they don't know anything about it.
Would they approve of her?
No, they will not.
Well, there's your problem, right?
Yeah. Right now there is a problem.
That's the biggest problem, yes?
Yeah, but we can work on it in future.
Because that's one of the biggest ones when clients of mine that are Indian, the parents, if they don't approve, that's part of culture, right? That's not something that's like negotiable. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And it's a lot of stress because you know it's coming. So like everything could be good right now, but you still have to get your parents' approval. And you're saying, I don't think my parents would have approval on her.
Yeah, the thing is that the other guy is from her caste.
Okay. So that's better for her.
Yeah, that's better for her.
Okay. So what do you want? You want her back? You want to marry her? You want to... If everything went right, and I'm saying your name right, Adarsh?
Yeah, it's Adarsh.
Adarsh. If everything went right for you, how would it look?
I can see her and me together.
But you said your mom and dad or your parents would not approve of her.
But if we will insist, then there is a high chance.
Okay, so why do you think you're better than her, better looking than her? I mean, why would you want to be with someone that you feel like you're better looking than Is she on a scale of 1 to 10? What's her how much are you attracted to her on a scale of 1 to 10?
Can you repeat your question, sir?
Sure, no problem. On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your attraction to her? Physical attraction.
Physical attraction from me to her is 10 out of 10.
Okay, 10 out of 10. So
Yeah.
and right now you're blocking her, so you hope that she comes back to you because she's addicted to you.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm going to ask you a personal question. You don't have to answer it because you're on a live stream. You've been together 6 months. Have you guys been intimate? No, not yet. Okay, no problem. It's like, so you haven't gone there yet, right? So when's the last time you talked to her?
Today.
You talked to her today. What did you guys talk about?
Her today.
What did you talk about today? What was the last conversation you had? What happened?
In the last conversation, she was a bit jealous about the thing that another girl is in my house.
Okay.
And she was a neighbor.
She's a neighbor.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happened? And how long was the conversation?
Conversation was like few minutes.
You called her. Or she called you.
She called me.
And what did she want when she called you? Just to see how you're doing? I miss you. What'd she say?
How you doing?
Mm-hmm. And how did the conversation transpire here?
Actually, can I put my camera off?
Yeah, no problem. How did the conversation transpire?
This time we the last time we didn't talk much because I knew what she's gonna behave like.
And what was that you knew?
That she will not listen me.
Not listen to you to come back? Or what are you asking her that she's not listening to you?
Just normal stuff. Whatever is going on in my life. Actually, why I stated that she's narcissistic. She's like if I wanna talk about anything, so we can. But if I don't want, then we are not gonna talk about that particular topic or anything.
Because she doesn't want to talk about what you want to talk about. She's narcissistic.
To her.
All right. But she's talking to a new guy, correct? She's talking to a new guy, yes? Are you there?
Can you listen me?
Yes, I can listen to you. I am. She's talking to a new man now, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And she told you that, right?
Yeah, she is talking.
So negotiations are off, man. You have a few things here, and I don't know your whole story, right?
She told me.
Yeah, she told you, so at least she's being honest. Did she break up?
Do you want to know the whole story?
I would like to know it if it's possible for you to tell it with
better.
Yeah, if you have a little bit more pace to it. So you're a little bit slow, so I would like you to pick up the pace. But one of the things that I would say is 2 months ago when you broke up, okay? You broke up 2 months ago. Why did you break up specifically? What were the reasons? She broke up with you or you broke up with her?
She broke up with me.
Okay, she broke up with you, and what were her reasons?
At that time, her reason was we had different caste. and I don't wanna bother my family.
That's a
But
legit reason.
but when she came back again to me, I got to found
She
the
came
reason
back.
was her confusion.
Yeah, but she also. All right, listen, okay, because I don't live in India. I'm not Indian, but all due respect, I've had a few other clients that have been in this situation. I understand the caste situation. I understand that you need your parents' approval on a wedding or getting married. Yes?
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. So if she's looking at it and she says, yeah, we're together 6 months, but I know your parents won't approve of me, isn't it a waste of time for her?
No, that's not the case. She knew that if I asked, my parents will allow.
Okay, but you don't want to get married yet.
What?
Would you marry her?
Yeah, I will for sure.
Does she know that?
Yeah, she know.
Okay, so why doesn't she want to marry you?
The thing is, she's confused.
Okay, so this is my advice. You got to give her space.
I want this guy or not.
You've got to give her space to decide. If you're willing to let her decide between the two of you, which is your choice. I'm not saying that's the right move or the wrong move. I'm saying that's up to you. Okay? Because some guys, not you, but some guys would go, you're talking to someone else, you're confused, I'm done. You are saying that, no, I'd like to be the one that she chooses. Just know that she's choosing between two guys. She's confused, but her confusion is based on the fact that you're from a different caste. So long term, she doesn't see it working because of the caste system, which is a real system. This isn't something that's like made up. It's a real thing. It's actually the first thing you told me. So you know it's the biggest problem. You're saying there's a good possibility your parents might come around. Okay, fine. That's okay. But if it's been 2 months, she's calling you up, she still has interest, I would say this, blocking her is you shutting off negotiations, shutting off talks. If you leave the door open, what has to happen for her to not be confused? Is she dating this other guy? Is she seeing this other guy? I mean, it's been 2 months. So
maybe it's like dating.
For you, I would
she's talking with him as a friend.
Okay, all right.
They both are confused that they both fall into the relationship or not.
So instead of, this is what I would recommend. And correct me if I'm wrong, because like I said, there's a culture difference here, and maybe you're like, oh, I can't do that because in India we do this. That's totally fine. I'm open to that. I live in a different country also, so I respect that. What I would say to that is, instead of trying to get her back as your girlfriend, as your future wife, as the woman you want to be with forever, just get a date. Does that make sense? Just say, hey, stop getting into big topics, long-term, big future, all these things, and go, hey, can we just get together for dinner or whatever date you like to go on? Or sorry, I got a mosquito around me. Put yourself in a situation, because I think you said you're a good singer, and that's probably something she likes about you, where you could sing a song and have fun. Do something where you go out and have fun again. Would she be agreeable to meet up with you?
Unable to hear you, sir.
You didn't hear anything I just said? Can you hear me now? Patience are a virtue. Can you hear me now? Adharsh?
Yeah.
Could you get a date with her where you guys just go out to eat and talk in person and talk about the present moment?
Yeah.
This is the biggest problem a lot of people have.
I can hear you now.
You understand me? Stop looking for we're gonna be together till death do us part. We're gonna get married. Is it possible for you guys just to get back together to dating, where you just go on one date?
Not yet.
Okay. And that's because of the caste problem?
Yeah, that's because her family don't allow her to go out much.
Can you talk to the family?
No, no, not at all. Not at all.
Why?
Not yet. Not yet.
Well, so it doesn't sound like it's going to work then.
No,
How-
it will not. We are very young right now.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
22, man. What a great age, man.
Just turned
Congratulations.
22.
22 and you're a good singer.
Yep.
Are you interested in any other women or is this the one?
I'm just interested in her.
But she's a narcissist. And she's from a different caste.
Yeah. She is.
And she's not very good looking.
Yeah.
So is there a chance if you gave yourself more time, being the good singer and the great looking guy that you are, that you could possibly meet someone else in time if you gave this a break? Whether you block her or don't block her. You can block her or you can't block her. It's up to you. But right now she's talking to another guy. She's worried about the caste system. You're worried about the caste system. You don't think there's a possibility of you even talking to her parents. So there's a lot of going against you right now.
Yeah.
It's more than her just being confused.
But
There's
that's what happened here.
So what do you want to do moving forward? Do you want to bet on yourself and possibly meet someone you're more attracted to that's not a narcissist, that isn't talking to friends that she's confused about? Because guess what? Instead of thinking like, oh, I'll block her, if you start dating some other women and move on, stop receiving her calls, yeah, she might come back to you, but you're not going to get rid of the problems of the caste, of the parents. Do you see what I'm saying? These are problems that are always going to be there. And that's why she's confused. It's not just because she met her friend.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it did.
And like I said, if you want to build something moving forward with her, right? This isn't you, dude. This isn't like what you're doing something wrong or you're doing something right. I'm sure you watched a bunch of YouTube videos on blocking and not blocking and getting your ex back. Stop trying to get your ex back.
Yeah.
Okay? And just do this. All right, what do I want? All right, I want her back. You don't want to marry her yet. So stop talking like this is the person I want to be with last. All you'd want to do is like, hey, this is what I would suggest. Next time she calls or next time you interact, if you decide to unblock her, say, hey, look, let's meet up for coffee, tea, whatever it is you want to meet up for, and get in person where you can see each other. And if you're that attractive to her, then it'll change things. And just be in the present moment. Stop talking about the future, the caste system, and all that other stuff, and let love take its course. Now, if that's not the case and it can't be avoided because she's saying, we've been together 6 months and we're from a different caste, this will never work, that might be true. So,
yeah, it will be only possible if she come back after blocking.
all right, well, then you got your answer then.
Cause of course she's in rage right now.
What's raise? What's that mean?
Because I blocked her.
Okay, so you're going to hold out on blocking.
And
when you hold out
angry.
It might work for you, but you're not going to be able to. The problem with the caste system is the biggest problem. It's the first thing you told me, and you didn't look very confident about it. That's what I mean. Like a lot of people, oh, let me get my ex back. Are you going to be able to fix the problem? That's the question. That's the problem. If you just want to date again, then just ask for one date. And if she says, no, I don't want to date or I don't want to meet up, then you say, okay. But stop the phone stuff. You guys were together for 6 months. You got to get in each other's presence and each other's energy. Right? Other opportunity, other alternative. It's not a good thing that you think you're better looking, and you think she's a narcissist. You're saying all these negative things about someone you really want to be with. Are you really into her that much, or are you just making shit up?
I'm into her. I'm very much into her.
Why would you call her a narcissist? Why would you call her a narcissist?
Actually, she is a narcissist. Actually, she is a narcissist. But
So you're attracted to narcissists.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Well, then that's fine. It's cool, man. Everyone's got their own thing. Don't complain about it then. Don't make it an issue. If that's something that you're like, I'm willing to accept that about her, fine. Totally fine. But this idea that you're not, the problem isn't her coming back. The problem is the caste system and overcoming that. So when you have a conversation with her and you get deeper, wherever this goes, you're going to have to come to a point where you're like, hey, all right, how are we going to deal with this? You got to have a game plan. You can't just sit there and go, when I said, oh, have you met her parents yet? And you're like, oh, no, can't do that. It's like kind of a big deal.
Actually, we had a plan.
And the plan what?
The plan was getting a high post, and then we can work on it.
High post? What's that mean?
It means a high level government job in India.
Okay. All right, so a job counts. All right, so you got a plan in place. Here's what you got to do right now. Instead of, and this is going to be really hard for you to understand because you're 22 years old and you're a good singer and you're highly attractive to women in India, you told me, right? So you have a little confidence in yourself. Okay, cool. I'm with that. I like confidence. Great. Outstanding. But what you're doing is you're better off going, okay, you got this other friend you're talking to, you're a little confused right now. Go accept that. Accept it and say, it's okay, take your time with that. And in the meantime, you're single and I'm single. Accept it. Don't try to fight it. Go with it. Don't go against it. You'll actually surprise her. And if she's really into you, she'll think to herself, wait a minute. Now did I lose him? But don't continue to chase her or try to push her around or control her. And I don't mean physically push. I mean, don't try to control the situation because you can't. Doesn't seem like it's working. And a narcissist isn't going to let you control them, right? Your words. So instead of doing that, go with it. Say, okay, you know what? I've been thinking about it. Go ahead and talk to your friend that you're confused with. See what happens. And if she's as addicted and attracted to you as you believe, then she'll most likely come back. Now, how long that takes, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I don't know. But that's the play to make. But you still got this caste system problem. That's the problem that you're always going to have problems because it's going to get brought up again and again. That's what's going to lead to another breakup. But if she's addicted to you and she's highly attracted to you, yeah, she'll probably come back. Probably. If you do those things. But stop trying to control it. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah,
Does that make sense?
It did.
Does that make sense? Do you have any closing questions?
Actually, the thing is, the plan I was working was that don't show that you still want to marry her. Just get addict her to yourself.
Just get her addicted to you?
And with time when she will want me, I'll put up my conditions that you have to left your narcissist behavior, and only then we can be together.
I'm so glad you called me. I'm going to help you with this right now. Oh my goodness. 22 years old. Stop watching the narcissist videos, okay? If someone's a real narcissist, you're not going to be able to go, hey, these are my conditions. Stop being a narcissist. That's a personality trait. That's a thing in your character. You don't extract that by telling someone to not do it anymore. Does that make how should I put this? It doesn't work that way if she's really a narcissist. That's her personality. That's her character. For her to change that, she'd have to do hypnosis, therapy, figure out where that comes from. But narcissist is a broad umbrella term. It means many things. But you leveraging
Actually, I was unable to convey it. The plan was to be a bit dominating, so that I can control her narcissism.
Are you a narcissist?
Me, no, not at all.
What would you call yourself? If she's a narcissist, what's that make you?
But what idea I have to control her?
Well, that's the whole problem. You're trying to
get
control
her.
it. You're trying to control. You're trying to. How old is she?
She's 21.
All right, she's 21. She doesn't want to be controlled. She has parents already. So this whole idea you're going to control her is a bad take. So this is great that you called me up. This is a good thing.
Actually, it's not about just controlling. I meant by controlling is that she start caring about me.
You want her to start caring about you?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you're not going to do that by telling her or creating some kind of covert blocking. That's called manipulation. A lot of narcissists use that too. If you find someone to be a narcissist, okay, do you understand what I mean? You're trying to be clever and do a tricky thing. Why not just find someone that lines up better with you? Let me ask you something, bud. Are you a really good student?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, are you a really good worker? Do you work hard?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're doing right now, and this happens to a lot of people that get good grades and do well and are high achievers, you're trying to like work the system. That's not how relationships work. You're like, if I work harder at this, if I do this, this, and this, it'll work. It's not math. It's not 2 + 2 is 4. And that's what you're looking for. Do you like math?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, 2 + 2 is 4. There's no question. Relationships opposite. So you're like, if I do this and I do that, there's no solution that's guaranteed. But I will tell you this. This idea that this 21-year-old girl that you've known for 6 months, that you're in love with, that you're attracted to, that you're somehow going to control the situation and strain out her narcissistic tendencies that you've diagnosed, and you're not a narcissist at all, let me tell you something. It would take a narcissist to take down a narcissist. Like, if she's really a narcissist, you're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to overcome this. You're not going to change her personality. And guess what? There's a news flash. She's going to change again. She's 21 years old. She's probably going to change a little bit more. But this idea that you're going to maybe change her ways, that's not true. That's not how it works. People change on their own because they want to, and usually people change because there's consequences. So now you're thinking a consequence is I'm going to block you, so then you'll change. But she might miss you when you block her. She might want you back. It's not going to change her personality. Her personality was built in a way that you're not. All right, so personalities aren't that changeable because the way they were built is on human experience. Her mom and her dad and her life. So you just going, oh, she really wants to be, she's going to change things. No. Stop trying to change her. You've only known her 6 months, and try to meet someone that lines up better with you. Why would you consider yourself not a narcissist, a nice guy, a good singer, you consider yourself highly attractive? You got to bet on yourself to meet someone else. And if I'm correct, India has a big population. Is that true? Have you met another woman that
very big actually?
Yeah, really big. Why isn't it that you can't meet someone else? And I'll tell you what, if you met someone else, you'd probably be more interested. That's just how it works. But here's the thing. Beyond if she comes back or she doesn't come back or you get together, your whole idea of changing her is the problem. Now, like you said, oh, if we get a government job, that'll change your financials. That might change your situation. It's not going to change your personality. Money doesn't change people. It amplifies who they are. It changes maybe some decisions they make. But if she's a narcissist and she makes more money or you're more successful, then she's going to be more narcissistic with more money. If you make her your wife and she's a narcissist, she's going to be more narcissistic with you. Now, if she puts that to the side for 2 or 3 months and is good, that's still going to bubble back up. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. But the whole thing is right now you miss her. Have you had a relationship prior to this?
No. That was my first.
Okay. Excellent.
I knew that I'm an emotional guy. I'll get attached easily. So that was the first time.
That's okay. That's okay. That's not a bad thing. You know that about yourself. You know, I'm an emotional guy. I know I'm going to get attached. You know that about yourself. That's half the battle. But you're not going to change her to fit you. And by the way, being an emotional guy is something you're probably going to have to work on a little bit. Doesn't mean you got to be a more masculine overall, but you got to pick up some things. If you really want to be in a relationship with another woman, you probably have some things to learn. And that's okay. It's not a bad thing, dude. You're not ready right now, and neither is she. And that's why I said, instead of focusing on like, if we're going to get married, we're going to start a life together, she doesn't sound like she's ready. And the way you're talking about yourself right now, you're just not ready either. And that's okay. That's okay. Take some time away from this. But being an emotional guy, it's going to cause problems in a relationship with a female, because the females are really emotional too. You need to be the stronger person in this situation. Is she a feminine woman or more masculine?
What?
Is she a feminine woman? Is she sensitive?
She's feminine.
Yeah. So you need to be if you feel I'm an emotional guy, I'm this. You're calling her names. You're calling her narcissist. You're not centered with your own stuff, right? So
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it did actually a lot.
Good. The thing that I will tell you, though, you can change anything about you that you want, but you can't change anything that you want about her. Just because you watch a YouTube video and you're like, oh, she's a narcissist, you can diagnose that, but it's still just an opinion, right? Does she believe she's a narcissist and wants to change?
What's up?
Huh?
Can you repeat, please?
Absolutely. Does she believe that she's a narcissist and she wants to change?
Yeah. She knew a bit.
Does she want to change?
Not much.
There you go. And you know what? Maybe she changes in a year or 2 years. She needs some kind of consequence. So if I were you, stay in no contact. Whether you want to block her or not block her is fine. But keep yourself busy, man. Keep yourself busy right now. But you're not going to change someone like that by manipulating them into being addicted to you. Did you watch a video or did someone give you a playbook to get someone addicted to you?
Yeah. I actually did a lot of research. And
is it working?
There's no contact about 30 days.
All right. That's fine. Maybe it works. Like, I'm not saying I could tell you're following some kind of playbook like that. It might work. That's okay. I'm not like, oh, don't do that. Don't do this. Could work. The no contact, all that stuff. But the idea that you're going to change her personality, no. That's not going to happen anytime soon.
I don't want to change her whole personality.
That's what you just told. That's what you just told me. Go ahead.
Just want to make her a bit respectful.
Okay, so we're not going to use the word control, but you're going to make her do something. She's 21 years old. She doesn't want to be... adults don't like to be told what to do. They usually don't.
Right.
Unless they have a job. Especially when they're dating. There might be a few out there, sure. But just the way you're putting this together, I'll make her, I can get her to do this, you make her do something? That's not attractive.
In last months, I was able to do it a bit.
And what was the result?
The result was sometimes she was like very good. The way I wanted her to be. But sometimes when she is again got confused between me and the other guy, then the old person is back.
How long do you plan on playing this game as the second guy?
I don't know.
You good at games?
Yeah, I am.
That's why you like playing then. You're playing a game. You're playing a game, you're trying to figure out strategy here. I'd say play a new game. Because this game that you're playing now, I mean, is it fun? Are you enjoying it?
Not at all.
Okay, then stop playing. That's where you measure things. That's where you go, you know what? This isn't love. This is a game. You're trying to win. You're trying to be strategic here. You're trying to change people. Okay? If you're not careful, you're going to become a bully. Huh?
I try to do this all with love. But when strategy fails, then I come up with this.
To be honest with you, if you're going to call someone a narcissist, some of these things that you're coming up with are a little bit narcissistic. And here's the thing, if you made this woman your wife or your partner, you're going to pick up some of her traits. That's just how it is, especially emotional people. So you're like, oh, she's doing this wrong. She's doing this wrong. You're doing wrong stuff too. Two wrongs don't make a right. Does that make sense? You're going...
Right.
You're 22 years... I'm going to say it one more time, dude. 22 years old. You're a good singer. You're of a higher caste. You believe yourself to be better than her looks-wise.
Actually, the highest.
You're the highest caste. Okay, I believe you. I'm going to just be quite honest. This is your first love. It won't be your last. You're 22 years old, man. You're 22 years old. Give yourself some time and space. What are you doing to relieve? You got a lot of anxiety about this? Can you hear me? Did we lose you?
No.
No anxiety. Well, that's good.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes,
I can hear you now.
Do you have a lot of anxiety about this?
Yeah, a lot.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what's your anxiety?
Right now, it is low, but
Just tell me on 1 to 10,
as
please.
the time will pass, it will increase.
Okay, on 1 to 10, what is the anxiety?
Right now, it's like 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10.
But it goes up when you think about this other guy.
But I'm sure after few.
But when you think about her talking to this other guy that's a friend, it goes up, correct? Yes or no?
What?
Your anxiety goes up.
Huh?
Your anxiety goes up when you think about this friend. that you can't control?
In starting it does, but then I worked on myself.
Well, continue to work, man. Being that you're from the highest caste, is there a possibility you can meet someone from your high caste?
Yeah.
Would that be more ideal?
There are many girls from trying to take her place.
Well, do you always get what you want?
Most of the time.
Because you're from a high caste, right? It's really hard sometimes for people in breakups in different situations like this because it's more about getting what you want rather than getting what's right for you. Right now you want this because you can't have it. But really, if you got it, there's going to be some problems. You don't like her personality. You're from different caste. Maybe when you get her, you won't want her as much, it sounds like to me. Because you're not going to change her personality. Not at 21. Not at 21. And so the best thing you can do, the best advice I can give you is there's a tapping technique you need to go, even though I can't change her, even though I can't change her personality, I'm okay. I accept it. Even though I can't change her personality, I accept it. Even though she's a narcissist, I'm okay. I accept it. Narcissist. And then you tap on these meridian points. If you put the camera on, I'll do it with you. It'll bring your anxiety down because you know why? You're just not accepting this. You're pissing in the wind. I don't know if they say that in India, but it doesn't work. It's not a really good move to piss in the wind. But what you're doing is you're just not accepting it. You're like, I'll fix this. I'll change this. No, accept it first. Right? It's like, think about it this way. Do they have floods in India? Do they flood sometimes? Do you know what a flood is? Do you hear me? Oh, lost them. All right. Oh, there you go. Hello? You there, bud? Adarsh.
Hello.
Are you there?
Can you hear me?
Yes. So let me ask you a question. Did you hear what I said about acceptance?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Do you have floods in your country where the water gets high?
Yeah.
Has it ever happened to your house?
No.
But if it happened to your house, what would be the first thing you have to do? The water comes into your house. It's high. It gets all over the living room. Would you go out and tell everyone, there's a flood in my house. There's a flood in my house. I hate the water. The water's narcissist. The water came from nowhere. God did this. I'm going to change the rain. Would you do that? The people would all go, what? What? Why would they do that? Because you need to fucking accept that the water's in your living room first. You're not going to change that.
Yeah.
Right? So before you got started cleaning your living room from the water, you'd have to go, I accept it, man. This is horrible. I'm going to lose my couch. Maybe you're crying, maybe you're upset, but you accept it. Because you're not going to move the water in a day. And if you told all your friends and family, look at the water, they'd go, yeah, clean it up, man. Help out. Accept it. But what you're doing right now is like, oh, she's talking to a friend. Oh, she's a narcissist. Oh, she's this. You're not accepting any of it. You're not accepting, like, even though she's a narcissist, I accept it. Even though we're from a different caste, I accept that. These are all problems that you're not accepting. You're just trying to go around them. You're trying to figure out some other way. All right, that might be curtains on it. Rob IS, wow, man, you're loyal, bud. The highest caste types, do they tend to have a false sense of security that their caste will get them anything they want, or does that factor in? I'm not sure. I don't know how high, what high means, but people tend to have more issues when they don't get what they want when they're used to getting what they want because it becomes foreign, correct? Thanks, Sabina. You guys got a little backdoor look at this. All right, Adarsh.
Have you listened me, sir?
Yeah, you sound clear right now.
So have you listened what I said?
No, you were disconnected. So go ahead and say what you have to say.
I was saying I have accepted what she is, but the main thing is I want to get my love back because I know when she will love me again, she will give me all the things I want, the respect, the love, because it was there at a point of time.
How do you know?
Because I felt.
Feeling isn't knowing. It's a great lesson to learn at 22.
Yeah.
I'm being serious. It's a big statement to say I know. Seriously. It's a great thing when you really know something. So it's like someone's like, are you good at helping people with their breakups? Yeah, I know I am. Because I've done it for a long time and people have told me. I've gotten some feedback. Someone might disagree with that, but in my heart I might know it. Now, see, we got disconnected again. That might be curtains. You there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
So what I'm saying, when you say I feel it, feeling something and knowing something are different. Feeling something can trick you a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If you're going to base things on a feeling thing, what happens is your mind will make a case for what you want to believe. So whatever you want to believe, your feelings will guide you to tell a story. Like she's a narcissist, when in reality, the real story is you're from different castes and she's talking to another guy that's a friend that's from her caste that might be easier for her to have a relationship with. And she's confused because she's still interested in you. She still has feelings for you. But if you're telling me the truth where you're trying to make her do things, control things, be manipulative, she might smell that more than you think.
Yeah.
So you've been watching these like this is the thing. I'm on YouTube. There's a lot of people on YouTube that have plans, strategies. You're like, oh, if I do this, this, and this. The reality is right now what you're chasing, what you're involved in, accept where it's at. Tell her, hey, you know what? I know you're not going to do this, by the way, but I'd say next time you talk to her, if you do unblock her, you talk to her, hey, you know what? Go ahead and talk to that guy. Go ahead and talk to that guy. You have a right. You broke up with me. Accept that. I understand he's from your caste. I understand he's got some things going for him. And don't go, oh, you can call me anytime. Just go, I accept that. But if you want to, let's go get coffee or let's go get tea. You got to start fresh. Stop trying to plan this manipulative play with this long game. With this long game that you're playing. You're 22. Actually get present. It's like right now, just build a better relationship with her. But if she doesn't want it, the number one thing you can do, and this is the best piece of advice I can give you, accept it. Just like that flood, if it ever came to your living room, you'd have to accept it before you could clean it. That's the biggest thing, man. I wish I knew that when I was 22. It saved me a lot of grief. It's like how many people go around like that? Like I said, whenever someone comes and immediately identifies an ex as a narcissist but still wants them back, That's feeling based. That's not acceptance. That's saying, oh, they're bad, I'll change them, but I still have feelings for them. It's pretty twisted, actually. If I want to be with someone, I'm never going to... Anyone that I've ever wanted to be with, I wouldn't want to also associate them with being a narcissist.
Actually, I have a question to ask.
Shoot.
The thing is, all the other coaches said, don't go to her and tell her that you love her or want her. But should I do it?
I would never say you couldn't do that, or it's not going to work, or it is going to work, because it's possible. It's possible that could be something that melts her and gets her attention. But my point is, I don't know if this is a good relationship to pursue. That's my point. Now, if you want to go there and convey your love after blocking her, you're going too many different directions. Do you see what I'm saying? Let me try this. Let me try that. Let me try that. Let me try this. Let me try that. Like I said, before you do anything else, accept she's talking to someone else that's a friend. Accept we're from different casts. Accept the fact that she's a narcissist personality-wise that you don't like. You got to accept all those things because you're not going to change them. Love isn't going to change those things. Conveying your love, what you're trying to do is just go, I just miss you. I want to be with you. So I'll do anything. That's why it's unattractive. So when these other coaches that you've talked to or you've seen on videos, if you're doing that and it comes off as, I'm just doing this because I want you back, because you didn't do it before, then it's not genuine. And then, quote unquote, it doesn't work. But this is the thing. It's possible. So when you ask me, would that work? Would that work? Possible. I don't know her personality well enough. If she's a narcissist and she's unsure about things, I would say no, it probably wouldn't work. I would say, I've told you this, you haven't listened very closely. If you accepted it, which is hard because you're not accepting it in any shape or form. You're actually trying to change everything. So you said, you know what? You're talking to someone else. I can accept that. You broke up with me, I accept that. That's what no contact's about. It's about accepting it. It's not about, oh, then they'll come back. And that's where you got to be. And that's the most attractive place to be. All right. I hope was that helpful and useful to talk about this?
Yeah, it was quite a lot.
Good, man. Just keep in mind, man, you're fucking 22. You're 22 years old, man. This is not going to be the last person you're ever with. It's not going to be the last person you ever get sweet eyes for or are attracted to. It's just not going to, it's not. If you married her and everything went right, and a year from now, being 23, 24 years old, you go, what did I do? She didn't change. We're from different casts. And I still like other women. But right now, you're just feeling this deep, 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 deep missing. Because you usually get what you want. Does that make sense? That's why I asked you those questions. Because I could sense it. I could sense it. And that's okay. Accept that about yourself. This will be a good lesson for you. If you just, all you're focused on, like, I just want her back, I just want her back, you're not really seeing the big picture. You're not really seeing the big picture. And that's what happens when you're 22. You just go on your feelings. I know this because I feel that way. Well, feelings aren't something that you use about knowing things. It's not math. It's not 2 + 2 is 4. Just like I told you the story about the flood. You got to accept the flood before you can clean it. And before you ever get back with this girl, if she ever comes back to you, you got to accept this stuff. You can't go around telling everyone, oh, she's a narcissist, oh, she's this. That's flawed. You got to work on
Actually,
yourself.
I didn't told anyone.
Well, you just told, I don't know, 10 people in the live stream international. Does that, you know what I'm saying?
That's why I
and
my face.
and it's okay. I'm not saying you're a bad person. Because what happens now is that with YouTube and all these things, you're like, oh, you get really intense on what's gonna work. What's gonna work? I'm on YouTube, like I said.
Is this live stream going to upload?
It already is.
If it is going to be uploaded, so can you remove my name and my picture?
No.
You can't.
No, that's not. That's why I asked you. You want to come on live?
Okay, no problem.
After it's uploaded, it could be taken down.
Okay, no problem.
But I didn't. That's why I asked you. Do you want to come on live? I don't try to trick people. That's not my thing. If you want to come on, usually I charge people $125 an hour for coaching, for helping them out. So this is the other thing, right? So, but I wouldn't worry about it. I don't think your girlfriend's gonna see this. Don't worry. Don't worry about it. It might not be a bad thing though. Seeing yourself like this is a good way to see yourself. This is a good conversation. This is something you can rewatch and get some insight about yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like you like cricket.
Yeah, I do.
How did I know that? You like cricket?
Because I'm Indian.
Yeah, exactly. Do you watch cricket or play cricket?
I'm not into watching. I play sometimes.
All right. Well, if you videotape yourself playing, you'll be surprised by how you play sometimes, right? Good, bad, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. When you listen to this again, you'll be like, "Oh shit." I don't know what you know what I'm saying? You can kind of pick up some things. So it's actually going to be really useful for you. It's the same kind of thing. It's like when you study film. It's like, oh, okay, let me look at this different. So just to close out, number one, accept this stuff. I have a tapping technique that really helps with accepting, but you're not on camera, so I won't do it with you right now. And you keep cutting out. But you just basically go, even though, the basic part about it, even though you tap right here, even though she's a narcissist, I'm okay, I accept it. Narcissist. She's a 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 narcissist. Even though she's a narcissist, I'm okay. And you know what that does? It just tells your system it's okay. Stop fighting it. Whether it's true or not true, it's what you believe. Your mind does a ping pong game, bro. And it goes, she's a narcissist, but I love her. I want her back, but I don't like her. So you want to get your mind to the point where, accept it. And that's the key. That's the best advice I can give you at this point for you. Accept that. And that EFT is what it's called, is a good way to do it. It's very easy.
So, can you give me any proper tips so that I can get her back?
Accept it first. Accept that she's a narcissist. Accept that she's seeing someone else. If you are in contact with her again, tell her you accept that she's talking to someone else. Stop trying to play games. Be real. Make a time to meet up in person to talk present moment. Don't bring up the past. Don't bring up this other guy. And when you meet up, ask about how you've been, what have you been up to. Don't bring up any drama. Stop trying to get her back as your wife, your lifetime partner, and just go on one date. And if she's that attracted to you, you'll feel it. And keep it present moment. And accept that she's a narcissist. If that's how you feel. Yeah. Don't bring that up. If you go out with her or you talk to her on the phone, oh, you're a narcissist. Don't bring that up. That's just all you're doing is putting salt on the fire. Right?
Okay.
The whole point, the reason why people The reason why people want to be with other people is because of how they make them feel. If someone's really attracted to you, it's how you make them feel. And that's not because you get down on your hands and knees and go, oh my God, I love you, I want you back. That's pity.
Yeah.
But if you hang out and you guys have some tea or whatever you want to do, have some Indian food, whatever. You're a singer, you like to dance maybe, do something fun.
Okay.
And then she'll be
fine.
reacquainted with the reason why she's into you. But this idea where you're like, I'm going to block her and then she's going to come back to me. You're going 5 steps forward. You've been apart for 2 months. Your goal is just to have a date. And if she's that attracted to you, things will work. But if it doesn't, if she says, no, I'm not ready to go on a date, or I'm not ready to see you right now, you know what your response is? Okay. That's it. That's acceptance. That's neutral. And then when you respond that way, just leave it alone and it'll actually surprise her and stop trying to control the situation. Because it's unattractive. Because on the other end, she's 21 years old and she doesn't want to be controlled. So you're just countering it.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're getting this from. So that's hard to do because you think I'm the man. I'm the guy that I have to do this. Yeah, but the man thing to do is like, oh, you didn't want to go out? You don't want to go out with me? Okay. Okay, and it's been 2 months. Be open to dating some other women. Be open to the fact that you might be able to embrace being single. Your focus is so rigid on getting her back that you're not concentrating on the rest of part of your life. And that's unattractive. She can feel that. She knows she has you at any moment. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Acceptance, being neutral to some of the responses, and then the only goal is to go out again. For one time, for one present moment, for fun. Not to get her to marry you. Not to get her to be your girlfriend again. Not to be so you can change her personality. That's the only goal. All right.
So you are saying I have to be with her. I just should enjoy with her.
You don't have to do anything. That wouldn't be very attractive. What you want to do is that you want to be with her. This is why I'm like, you're trying to create a plan that's going to quote unquote work. The attractive thing is if it doesn't work, it's fine. I'm okay.
Okay.
That's what's attractive. Women are attracted to guys. Sometimes they say they just don't give a fuck or they don't care. Well, you can be neutral. It's like you're a good singer. You said she's attracted to you. She needs to see you in person. Go have fun. Go do fun things. Talk about the present moment. Sitting here and talking about, and if the friend that she's talking to comes up, go, oh, okay, that's great. We'll just talk about that some other time. Don't make a big deal out of it. It's just a friend anyways, right? Talk about those things. People remember how you make them feel. The whole reason that someone blocks someone is because they don't make them feel good. The interactions are not good. Stop trying to control the situation. All right. You're welcome. All the best of luck, bud. Keep in touch, all right, Adarsh? Best of luck, bud. All right, that was good. We'll start doing some more of those. Was the voice clear on the yard stream or was it echoey the whole time? If I can just get some feedback. Acceptance is really big, man. Thanks, Rye Flint. All right, 2 hours, 30 minutes. All right. There was echoing. Man, I'm going to have to figure that out, why that's doing that. Was it... Echo wasn't all the time. I'm going to have to figure this out, man. That's not good. Who's next? You know, a long time ago when I first got this set up, I did like a 5.5 hour live stream with like 2 call-ins, and they were from India also. All right, folks. It's been good. It's been grand. Thanks for joining me. He spoke slowly and calm, so was a little echo, not such amount. Yeah, I heard the one from China was really hard. I'll have to check that. I wonder if it's coming from my headphones. I wonder if that's it. All right, folks. It's been good. It's been grand. I'll be back on deck soon. Take care.